What are you looking at, butthead?
Alright, been a while since I've been able to sit down and do a review. This is going to be my review for The Purge from 2013. I actually just skipped the first movie and went right to the second one, so I've seen the second Purge, Anarchy, when that came out in 2014. I don't remember what I was thinking at the time. It was in the theater. I'm pretty sure I got to go see it for free. And I just said, hey, I'll just watch the second one without seeing the first one. I didn't think it was necessary, and it really isn't. So, the second one was so-so. It kind of loses itself towards the end. And I just never really could remember what I had heard about the original Purge. You know, nothing super great. Didn't have any rave reviews or anything like that. And then there's a new one coming out right now, The Purge Election Year. And so I just thought, I hadn't seen a horror movie in a while and never saw this, so I figured I'd just throw it on. And so this is actually written and directed by James DeMonico. He's the writer-director of all of them. He's done all three Purge movies. And now after seeing two, it's probably why they all kind of have the same problems. So, if you don't know anything about this at all, it's set at some time in the future, not too far, but a little bit in the future. And I think it's just the United States. I don't know if they ever said like the world or anything. But in the U.S., there's not a lot of crime because once a year for 12 hours, everybody gets to purge themselves of all of their violent tendencies. And so no crimes are enforceable. Anybody can do whatever they want for 12 hours. It's all legal. Now that's the basic premise, and it's a good premise. It's really interesting. It's interesting, but so far hasn't really been executed very well, in my opinion. But anyways, this stars Ethan Hawke and Lena Headey. They're parents of a son and a daughter, and Ethan Hawke's character designs security systems, and they live in a really wealthy neighborhood, so they're, you know, the elite or whatever, and they should be protected from all this violence, and they just lock themselves up and they're good to go for the 12 hours, and not a big deal. Except for this year, of course, there's a problem, otherwise there wouldn't be really a movie, right? And this plot is just pushed forward by the stupidity of the kids, mainly the son. It's so frustrating. This is just like going to be a kind of a random review, but yeah, the son is just really dumb, and yes, you need somebody pushing the plot forward. You need to have some sort of conflict about, you know, they're not safe anymore in this house, but the way that they get there is just ridiculous. So the kid's like, he has to be between 12 and 14, and he's gone through multiple purges or whatever. You know this by the way that they set up the world. But for some reason, this year he wants to help somebody. He sees somebody running outside and on security camera. They're being attacked, or no, he doesn't see them being attacked. He's just seeing the guy running, seems injured, wants help. He goes and lets the guy in, and that just, you know, leads to pandemonium. And at the same time, the daughter's boyfriend has hidden in the house, and he never left when he was supposed to, and he comes in and is trying to kill Ethan Hawke for some reason. That's like a weird subplot that just doesn't go anywhere. It just happens as a weird kind of action thing, and then it just is never explained why he wanted to kill him and why he was there. It's dumb. But anyways, like I said, the kid is really stupid because he lets in somebody, and then there's a bunch of rich kids that were chasing this guy. It's like supposedly he's like a poor black guy, and he was being chased by a bunch of rich kids, and they come to the house and they want them to give him up. So they say, you know, give us the guy that we were chasing, or we're going to come in there and we'll kill all of you. And that's the basic premise, and they have to decide if they're going to just give the guy up, or they're going to, you know, protect him, or, you know, what are they going to do? And there's parts of it that's pretty interesting. So once you get past how stupid and idiotic this kid is, I mean, for one, the first thing they probably teach you is that if somebody is outside asking for help, to let them in. You know, don't let them in because it's probably a way to get inside, right? That's how you trick people to get into their houses. You tell them that they're hurt. That's like rule number one. You think that they'd tell people. This kid just is feeling sympathetic, but it is interesting because at first, Ethan Hawke is just like, let's get him out of here. Let's give him to him. We don't need this trouble. Let's go. Let's do this. And you're like with him. You're like, yeah, okay, let's get the guy out of there. And they're all gonna die, or there's this one guy. It's kind of like, it's weird because it makes you think. Are you gonna side with these violent people that just want to kill this person, or are you like sympathetic and you're gonna try to protect them? But there's a good chance that they'll all die. So it's a very interesting question. Do they let him help the guy? Do they let him go, or forcibly make him leave? But it gets pretty crazy after that. What happens? Spoiler alert: once the people start to get into the house, it gets pretty crazy with neighbors and all these people, and it's I don't know. It's pretty bad. And I think there's good acting. It was really one thing that was really interesting was to see Lena Headey in a normal kind of setting, even though this is like a little bit in the future. Nothing futuristic about it really. So it was really funny to see her like in a contemporary movie, because so used to seeing her in Game of Thrones and like Dread and stuff like that. So she's a really good actress. She was good in it. Ethan Hawke's really good. Most other people are not good or so-so. I was just so annoyed by the kid the whole time. It's one of those things that gets you at the beginning, and it's frustrating, and it's just something that you can't get past, because he does a couple other things too that are just really dumb. And it's like, you would rather have, there's a point where I can't remember exactly what happens, but he's like trying to help the guy that's in the house that was being attacked, and then it's like he's helping the guy versus his mom could be killed. He's like, he'd rather help this guy than prevent his mom from being killed. It's weird. It's like, ugh, so frustrating. I hate it. I hate that kid. So yeah, that being said, I'm giving it a 1.75. It's not very good. It's sad because it's a really good premise. This one, as well as the next one, Purge Anarchy. So this one, you're looking at the like a very isolated incident of this family that should be secure in their house, but they're not. And the next one has another good premise, is that they're taking it out of this isolated, secure house. It's actually what happens to the poor people if they're on the streets during the purge. And that one starts out good too, has a good premise, but then it ends up not being very good. So I think in the hands of a different, more capable director, this could go somewhere interesting. But apparently, James DeMonaco just can't really seal the deal with these movies and have a really good impact, unfortunately, because it is a very interesting and thought-provoking premise. But I know there's one thing that I always thought was weird, that all they focus on is murder. So everything's legal for 12 hours, but the only thing they show in these movies is people getting killed, is murder. And it's like, I'm not like a masochist or sadist or want to see like weird things, but if everything was legal for 12 hours, you think people would be doing a bunch of weird, horrible stuff. But not that I want to see that, but you think they might show that or talk about it. It's never talked about at all. It's just murder. So it's just kind of weird. A weird thing to focus on. You have this brutal movie, brutal premise, but you only focus on the one thing. But a couple movies that has really made me think it was Hostage. Has a very similar situation with Bruce Willis and Ben Foster. I just rewatched it the other day. It's a good movie. Same kind of premise. People break into a secure house and bedlam ensues. That one's really good. That's done much better. And then, of course, you have the movies like The Strangers, where you have people trying to get into a house for, terrorizing a normal family type thing. But, yeah. Okay, I've been rambling on way more than I thought I would, so, like I said, 1.75 out of 5. Not very good, unfortunately. Good premise, not executed well. The kid in this is awful. If you want to be frustrated and annoyed at a kid in a movie, watch this one. All right.
Purge, Pushing old lighthouse keepers down the stairs is totally cool.
It's not cool, Rick. I'm not like these people. I can't run around chopping people's heads off one day a year and then sleep well the rest of the time.
Well, you better start getting used to it, little bitch, because we got some company.